Hello and welcome back to my channel. It has been such a long time since my last video. I think my last video was in April of last year. It's been a while, and every time I go on YouTube, I think about doing an update video because obviously the whole process that I put online for everyone to see is something that I'm really proud of that I did at the time. I see that people still comment on those videos, which really warms my heart and makes me want to do another update video. So this video today is all about things that I would have liked to know before going all in. It is a very big change. I don't think I realized at the time how big of a change it actually was going to be in my life. I think at the time I was so eager to get my period back, to feel healthier again, to have a good relationship with food, that I kind of just closed my eyes and jumped into the unknown because I was just so tired of feeling the way that I felt. I would have liked to hear more nuanced videos. I would say tip number one is get some help first if you can. So it could be a dietitian. I did work with a dietitian during my process, but only around the third month. Looking back, I would have probably liked having one since the beginning of the journey. And number two is a therapist. I think therapy does help you also just understand what you're trying to do by controlling the way you eat, by working out a lot. And it's nice to have that space to be able to talk and work through things and not feel so alone. Also, when you've compulsively done exercise as a way to feel better or for any kind of way that you've used exercise, once you don't have exercise anymore, well, you might want to fill that void with something else. And I think that being assisted by someone that can help you work through that is really, really beneficial for your mental health and for your physical health, because at that time, I think those two things are they're always very related, but especially when you are experiencing so many new things in your body. So yeah, again, just talk to professionals before. Don't take this change of lifestyle as something that's light. I think that I didn't realize how big of a change it would be in my life, physically, emotionally, mentally. So that's the advice I would give to you, is if you do have the means to reach out to a professional. Okay, tip number two, or something I would have told myself back in the day, is there is no end. I mean, of course, there is an end to recovery, but the point of the whole journey is finding a new lifestyle that is sustainable, that makes you happy, and also just to be patient. It is such an incredibly long process. I, to this day, don't feel like I felt before, but I think that's normal. I think my body has changed. I think that experience has changed me in so many ways. But I think it's such a mistake to try to get back to something that, first of all, we're aging. What I'm comparing myself to in my head is probably my 16-year-old version self. It took me about 2 years to get back to a weight that seemed like my set weight. It's a weight that you have an ease to maintain. You're not doing excessive amounts of exercise. You're not restricting your food. If you are happy in your head, happy in your body, and if you are stagnating at a certain weight, that is most probably your set point weight. You'll figure out with time. It is something that is super intuitive in the end to know when you feel happy and good mentally and physically, because you stop thinking about it. Okay, another point that I would have loved to know back in the day and that I did not know is the amount of stretch marks that I personally got during this process. I have never had stretch marks under my arms before, and it wasn't even because my arms were that large. I think that it's just because I put on weight so rapidly due to a slow metabolism, the quantity of food I was eating, and my body just puffed up and had so much edema the first months. I remember it was so uncomfortable. Having known that, I would have probably, I'm saying this now, but I remember at the time, the decision was so clear for me that there was no other way that I was gonna put on weight. I just wanted to put on weight and get back a healthy body and a healthy mental state. So it didn't matter at the time. So I don't know if I would change it. I remember the first month I probably put on 10 pounds. And then in month 3, I think I was up 40 pounds. Like, it was pretty intense and probably not the best strategy to go about it. Again, like, I was just following what felt right for me. Looking back, was that like the best decision? Maybe not. Maybe it would have been better if I was with a professional and had put on weight a little bit slower and more sustainably. And maybe I would have had less stretch marks and things like that. I don't think I've ever explained why, for me, going all in and stopping all forms of exercise and eating genuinely to my physical and mental hunger was the best strategy for me, I thought, was because I was so scared that if I put on weight in small amounts, I would at some point, let's say I had put on weight 2 or 3 pounds in the first month, I was so ingrained into that diet mentality and working out and stuff that I would have probably went back. Like, I would have probably started dieting again because I would have been scared, and it would have been redeemable, like a redeemable amount of weight. Whereas when I put on 10 pounds and I stopped doing everything related to dieting, it really forced me to shift out of that mentality and to try something drastically new. Was it like the perfect solution? No. I do feel like at that time that's what made the most sense. Being a little bit more informed now and knowing how everything went about and how I put on the weight and how much weight I put on, I would do it a little bit differently. And that's why I'm doing this video. Again, I think it's just going in with the most information that you can. Don't just watch anecdotal videos on YouTube. I know that it's super reassuring and it's very fun to get information from other women or men that have done it, but it is incomplete information, especially for you. And it's not always true. It's not always right. It's not always the good thing to do. I look back at videos that I did back in the day and I don't see it the same way. And I think that's normal because any experience that we go through with time, we kind of have a little bit more space and time to think about it and look back and see, oh, like maybe I would have adjusted that, or I think you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, the stretch marks, I think the only way to go about that is either like I would have put more cream or oil, or it would have done something for my arms and my legs and thighs. Okay, so last piece of advice that I have before ending this video and kind of speaking about where I'm at right now, be kind to yourself, please. This is such a hard process to go through, so don't add a layer of judgment towards yourself. I want to be as eloquent as possible to describe this last point because I know how it could be miscommunicated. Essentially, when you're going all in, I have the feeling that I could just do whatever the hell I wanted at that point, like eat whatever I wanted, drink whatever I wanted, and to the point where I just didn't have healthy habits. What you're doing now, dieting and working out too much and being extremely stressed and not having a period, isn't healthy. The extreme opposite isn't either. So it is important to conserve a certain amount of healthiness in your habits. But at some point, again, the point isn't to have like a free-for-all mentality. It is to be intuitive with yourself and to find a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. That's the big picture. That's the goal. The ultimate goal beyond recovery is finding a sustainable lifestyle. So I would just tell myself to stay kind to myself, to stay kind with my body, and that it isn't just like a free-for-all. I hesitated about putting this point in because I try to remind myself how I was at that time, and all I needed to hear is eat and don't work out. And that is so true. I think for people that are maybe a little bit further in the process and that feel like, okay, you're on the other side of the forest and now you're kind of, left with certain habits that aren't either sustainable. And now I kind of fall in the middle, and that's exactly where I am today. So to talk about a little bit where I'm at, I'm the healthiest and happiest I've ever been, ever. I'm now running marathons. I'm now doing half Ironmans. But I just want to really give you some reassurance that you will find your life back. You will not be in recovery your entire life. You will not become a monster. I had exactly those same fears. and they did not happen. So I feel like I always finish with this, but just trust your body. All I can say is that you will be so damn proud of yourself when you're on the other side, like I am today. And I can look back at that period being just a season of my life that was hard, really hard, but so rewarding and so worth it. And of course, I would do some things differently if I had to do it again today. But I have so much empathy and love for the girl that took that decision to go all in. And yeah, so that's why I'm making this video. So hopefully you can pull some kind of helpful information and see me today as being an example of a person that successfully got through putting on weight, and that is now at a very healthy weight. I lost a lot of weight, obviously, with time. It took me, it's been over 3 years that I started this journey, so it feels like a very long time. Don't hesitate to write questions under this video. I still answer every single comment. I am so touched by everybody that still comments on my old videos. Again, comment any questions that you may have, because I will do a little Q&A if you want, if there are some questions that are more reoccurrent. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.